I am your GM, DM Heath, aka Captain Sack, aka the Dire Bear GM. Welcome, everyone, as I turn off the audio because I'm hearing myself, and that's really fucking weird. All right, so not on cam, as you can see tonight, Zora and Satiel. Zora is not at their home location. Satiel is not feeling well. We have Zastari, who is not feeling 100%. Myself, who's not feeling 100%. Mello is out today because he's not feeling 100%. So this may be like a really super short situation. But that's okay because we wanted to get on a boat. I think everybody wants to get on a boat. You guys want to get on a boat? Let's get on a boat.
Yeah, hell yeah, let's get on a boat.
On a boat, mother. Anyways. Really quickly, let's go through all the announcements that we have to go through while there's nobody watching. So thank you all, one and all, for coming. This is basically like the 2 or 3 of you that are here. We are sponsored, as always, by D&D Beyond. Go and join, grab all of the new content, including the new Descent into Avernus. You start off in Baldur's Gate, and you join the battle in the 9 hells, demons versus devils. Which side will you choose? Why choose a side at all? Speaking of Descent into Avernus, October the 3rd, which is next, not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday, I will be running a one-shot for Nerdsmith for their 9 Hells of a Good Time, where I'm running the second in the series. There are going to be a total of 12 episodes, 4 players. They've organized 12 different DMs, 48 different players, all with our own individual adventures that are still part of an overarching kind of like a theme that's kind of happening throughout as we go. I am going to be joined by Perception Check Studios, which is going to be Ryan, their DM, Chunk, and Cucumber, the 2 felted friends. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a felted friend is, that's a Muppet. And then I've also got Logan, who is the director for Nerdsmith, who is going to be playing on my stream on Thursday. So tune into that. Twitch.tv/WeAreNerdsmith. I will be broadcasting it out all over the place as soon as we go live with it. On top of that, coming in October the 30th will be the first episode of Obscurum, a City of Mist actual play stream where we will be playing in the City of Mist. It's a kind of a superpower, mythological, legendary game where we use 2d6 for our rolling stats. So it's a lot like if you've played many of the Powered by the Apocalypse game systems, which use a 2d6 plus a modifier, then you will be familiar with it. It is going to be a 1940s and 50s style noir crime style game, and I look forward to it. It's very narrative driven, so I look forward to that. I'll be joined by Rev, Nix, Colton, and Carl, who is a friend of mine. So if you guys know of those folk, you will see them playing with me on that, and that again is going to be going live October 30th. The middle of October, if everything goes according to plan, I will be out of the country for the first time in my entire life. I will be in India for at least a week. That is what I'm aiming for. So we will keep everybody posted whenever I do go out of town, and that way anybody who usually tunes in will know that we will not be playing that Monday. Speaking of, there may or may not be a session next Monday. I will have to post more, but I will let you guys know as soon as I know more. As we gear up for 9 Hells of a Good Time, I need to do a session 0, and it looks like Monday may be the only time that we can ever get everybody together because TwitchCon is coming up this weekend, and I know that those guys will be there at TwitchCon, so there's that going on. Let's see what else we got going on. Winter Fantasy is in February. We'll continue to plug that. There will be a bunch of us there. I know that V will be there. I know that Maddie will be there. I will be there. And it seems like every time I turn around, I'm getting more and more people joining us, including I know that Nancy, who plays on Thursday nights, which is Maddie's mom, will be there. Yeah,
which is the only way V and I are gonna make it there. So
And I know that Carl and Sarah of Ars Mythica will be joining me as well up there for Winter Fantasy, as well as two of my players here offline here in Huntsville will be joining. So it looks like we're going to be having just a full crew going on. It would be great if I can pull everybody together and run just a massive one shot for everyone while they're there at the con. That would be great. We'll have to plan that out somehow. Anyways, let's see. I've plugged companies. Lucky Dice Cafe. Please come by and see me. I am there Thursday, Friday, and Sundays. Every other Sundays. I am playing in Ars Mythica's Dark Tidings game on alternating Sundays, where you can see me playing the very boisterous and lovable kind of Brimlow Hanagar, the Goliath Tempest Cleric. So feel free to tune into that on alternating Sundays and watch me be just Brimlow. There's really no other way to describe him. With that being said, tomorrow, as far as I know, the Holocaust of the Ekajati will still be up. So DM Jason will be running that. Are you guys taking another break, or are you doing your BESM this week?
V, are you ready for Big Eyes Smallmouth this week?
Yeah.
So we'll be back with Big Eyes Smallmouth.
So this Wednesday will be the first episode of Big Eye Small Mouth being run by V.
Poison episode 0 of sorts. We're doing character creation.
Awesome. That'll be great to see on screen, because those of you who may be interested, you can tune in on Wednesday to see how characters are created for Big Eye Small Mouth. And then on Thursday, Maddie will be back with Curse of Strahd.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, she's feeling up for it. And as far as that goes, I apologize if my energy level seems low. Life, man. What do you do? With that being said, last week you guys made Paul. You made some new friends at a fight that happened earlier in the scenes, and you found out that you have a boat. Kinda. It's a water.
And it goes over the water. It's a boat.
That is a very fair assessment. It goes on the water, it floats, and it can hold more than one of you. And even if it could only hold one of you, it's still a boat. So you have a boat. And you have a mission. You have a job. You're heading to the Achaemenid Moors. Your next stop is Joppas Landing. But first, you have a little bit of a trip to make. And as we open the scene here, what are we all doing?
I'm finding out what it's going to cost me to get this sword changed over, along with what the hell he wants as a favor.
That is true.
From Sarnas, the owner of Sarnas' Sundries and such.
Who may or may not give voice this evening. All right. He strokes his face for a moment. The money's gonna be a problem, of course, as you can understand. We're looking at probably about 800 gold to transport one thing over to another. However, I am willing to reduce that cost for the cost of a favor. I will consider myself to owe you something if you can get it done. Port Awapal has many different characters and interesting individuals who you can find here and there throughout the city. There is one such individual who deals in less than illicit or more illicit goods than legal. There is a particular powder that I would like for you to acquire. If you will take this, and he starts writing something down in a scribble note and then kind of rolls it up and then hands it to you.
Okay, I'm going to take a look at it to see if I even know what the substance is.
As you unravel it, there's nothing written on there. What, did you think I was going to hand you a piece of paper that might have said what the substance is, find the target who belongs to the letter, you will be able to read the letter, and your eyes will not be able to pry into the letter should you get captured, or something else should happen to you, the letter won't, turn into the wrong hands and trace back to me, yada, yada, yada. You get what I'm saying.
I get it.
Are you sure? Do I need to go over it again for you?
No, I get it. Tell me, how am I supposed to uncover this? Magic is not my forte.
Well, you see, magic is not your forte, but I believe that maybe finding them individuals what are not on the right side of the law all the time might be a bit in your forte.
I mean, I will neither confirm nor deny that statement.
That's a very smart option to choose there, in case you get, apprehended or something should happen to you.
How do I read this?
You don't. You hand it to the person that...
Okay, alright. Okay.
Not to be cryptic, but you'll know him when you know him.
Ugh, God, I hate that phrase so much.
Do you have 800 gold that you would like to shell over?
No, I don't.
All right, then get to scooting.
And I have your word that if I complete this for you, that you will do the task as requested.
Of course.
To be fair, you don't know me and I don't know you. You are putting your faith in me and I'm putting my faith in you.
This is very true.
I don't
Clyde Jessup Sarnes. It was a man of honor. You have my word.
Oribella, a woman of her word, if not necessarily her honor.
That'll do.
The best you're gonna get.
Understandable.
Okay, well then I'm off to find some less than stellar people. She's going to slip the scroll into her sleeve. Well, not her, into her armband, and then collect her things and walk out.
All right. I've got a little Sarnes stuck in my throat.
Oh my.
Oh, really?
Heading out. Now you need to find the less than legal side of things here in Port Awapal. What are you going to do about that?
Well, I'd like to use my feature, which is criminal contact.
All right.
So I have a reliable and trustworthy contact who acts as my liaison to a network of other criminals. I know how to get messages to and from my contact, even over great distances. Specifically, I know the local messengers, corrupt cavern masters, seedy sailors who can deliver messages for me.
All right.
So I'm probably headed to the seediest bar I can find, which means I'm headed right for the docks.
Yes, you are. And it does not take you long to find several seedy bars. Even a seedy warehouse.
But it isn't an agricultural warehouse.
No, seedy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sorry.
It's okay. Now, if I have to explain the joke, it's not funny.
I
Anyways.
I got it.
Thank you. So, making your way into the most diviest of dive bars that you can find along the wharf. I take it you're looking for someone who can be a liaison for what you're looking for.
Yep.
Okay. Give me perception.
That is a total of 15.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't take you long to find somebody who is well versed in the art of delivering missives
Okay.
that don't want to be seen or, get out about.
Yeah, of course. She carefully words the message, layered in thieves' cant and what have you. That basically states she's looking for somebody who is selling illicit goods of the powdered nature. So that if anybody happens across the note or the message, it seems utterly banal and entirely above board.
He takes the note, looks at it, shrugs, rolls it up, and tucks it into his glove. And as he does, he holds out his hand. 2 copper.
Fair enough. She'll pull out 2 copper. And then
Stay here.
And then she'll add another 2. As quickly as you can.
Of course. You stay here. I'll be right back. And with that, he leaves the bar. This rat-looking fellow with a long nose and stubble on his face. His hair is a greasy mat to his head. He is thin, not overly tall, but you can see that it is lean muscle. And he snakes his way through the crowd, and as soon as he hits the door, it's almost like he disappears as he's gone. Looking around the tavern, you can see that there are all manner of individuals here, and none of them look like they are the nobility type. As they hover over their tankards, keeping their faces low out of the light of the tavern, you can see that a lot of them are keeping their conversation, and it always starts with this first.
Of course.
So you can see that they're all trying to keep themselves... Hey, look, I have a face. It's not just shadows. You can see that several of them are playing a game of cards where they've got their cards low, and occasionally they're sliding. It is not money. It looks like wooden chips or tokens of some kind, but they're made out of wood, and they're sliding them back and forth. You can see as you watch, one of them holds up a folded piece of paper. Their conversation isn't super loud, and you're kind of sitting across the room from them, but you can see the one that has his back to you holds up a piece of paper and puts it down and slides it forward. You see as one of them takes his cards, folds them together, and lays them down, holding his hands up. You watch as another one throws a few more of those tokens in, and then takes out what appears to be a circular piece of metal, like a medallion. And as he clicks it, you can see that it opens up, and it's a pocket watch. And he closes it, loops the chain, and sets it down on top of that. The back of the man the back of the person who held up the paper points at him, and just you kind of see they're having a conversation again, but you can't really hear them. But he does his fingers like this, and then he does this. And he stands up and he pats his pockets for a second, and he pulls out actual coin, and he lays down several pieces of gold and slides them forward. The figure that laid down the piece of paper seems to nod his head. He moves around to the next person in turn, and you see him folding his cards in as well. It's down to just the man with the piece of paper, the man with the watch, and the man with all the tokens. You look as he smirks, and you can see his face sitting opposite of the man with the paper, sitting beside the man with the watch, who you can only see the profile from, who is worrying at his bottom lip, thinking maybe he made the worst decision of his life. You can see that pressure on him from across the room, almost as though you can see the beads of sweat that are starting to pop out across his brow. He's starting to wring his hands, keeping them above the table. his cards laid down flat. The man with all the tokens smirks, takes all of them and shoves them into the center. You can read his lips from across the room, and he says, "I call." You watch as he throws his cards down, and the crowd around him kind of gives both a boo and a jeer at the same time. It's this whole like a gasp almost. You watch as the man with now the beaded brow takes his cards and throws them down, holding his head down like this. Clearly, he did not have a hand that beat the other one. The one that you can only see the back of holds his cards up high enough that you can get a glimpse of them. Give me a perception check.
Okay. That's a 19 on the die, plus 3 for 22.
They are all the same color, and they are all face cards with an ace.
Oh,
And he lays them down, spreads them out, and you watch as the man who had the smirk across the way with all the tokens, his face falls. The man with the person with the slip of paper stands, and you can see they're wearing a long coat that kind of trails out behind them. And the sleeves are folded back. And you can see that they're wearing tall boots that are about mid-calf, and they're folded over, giving you a very distinct pirate look here. He stands and starts pulling all the money into himself, and you watch as the man with all the coin, well, who used to have all the tokens, grabs his wrist and quickly flips it over. And you watch as there's a bit of panic on his face. The man with all the money, the one that you can only see the back of, takes his cuff and pops it down, and then slaps the other guy across the face, who promptly sits down. And he collects the rest of his remaining stuff. As he does, he grabs the pocket watch and hands it to the man who is crestfallen, who stops for a second, looks up at him, does this, and you can see he's pushing it into his hands, and he pats him on the shoulder. As he turns around, you can see that they're handsome, but they're also pretty. They have a very androgynous kind of a look to them. You see red hair that's kind of cut short and pulled back into a short ponytail. Very familiar look to them.
Would this be Hawk?
This would be Hawk, who is now collecting all of their belongings and putting them together. Welcome back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Hawk stands and sees you across the room, gives you a wink, and does this.
She kind of winks back and turns her attention to the others at the table because she can only assume that this is not going to end well.
The man who was rid of all of his coin doesn't seem to be standing up. The other man with the pocket watch has gotten up and started to move away. You hear a shout now that fills over the din of the bar, which is just kind of a low murmur. One more hand! You watch as Hawk turns their head over the shoulder, and you hear it. I won that fair and square. Don't get any ideas. There doesn't need to be any trouble here. The crestfallen, now penniless fellow sits back down. Hawk turns around and says, unless you're willing to barter with one more thing. What's that? Your servitude. One more hand. I win, you work for me. You win? I'll give you back your coin, keeping my own. You win, I want the deed to your ship. And that's not the deal, fellow. I win? What do you say? At least you won't be penniless. Fine. Deal the cards. Hawk steps over the seat, flourishes the coat back, and sits down. The man who's been dealing the cards sits up and starts dealing the cards between the two of them, giving each of them 4. Or, I'm sorry, each of them 2, which is 1, 2. And he proceeds to play the hand out. As you're watching, you can see Hawk once more kind of holds the cards up enough where you can see. Give me a perception check, please.
21.
It is junk. It's a 2 and an 8. Different suits. You can't really see the cards that are laid out on the table, but you know that this hand may not go as well.
What's the look on the other guy's face? Is he looking self-satisfied? Much like he was before with that big smirk, like, yeah, I've got this. Absolutely. There's no way that could happen twice.
He doesn't look as smug, but he does look confident.
Okay.
If that gives you a sense.
It does. I'm going to stand and slowly make my way over because it's a crowd. This is interesting. I want to be closer, find out what's going on.
Sure. You can see that, sure enough, Hawk's hand is garbage. There on the table is a jack and a 5. Both of hearts. Hawk kind of leans up at you. Turns the head, because I assume you kind of walk up behind, or where did you walk up to?
I walked up behind, and I'm kind of like resting my hand on the back of Hawk's chair, just kind of like leaning forward to take a look at the table. Which, I mean, I'm sure that others are kind of doing the same, leaning forward, taking a look at what's on the table, and then backing up, and she does the same.
Sure.
She's blending in, despite, being an elf. She's blending in.
What's your passive perception?
My passive is
your passive
13.
Perception. 13.
Yep.
You see, like, adjust themselves, and you don't know where it happened, but suddenly there are 2 aces in Hawk's hand.
Okay.
All you saw was like a shrug of shoulders, and the next thing you know, there's 2 aces in the hand. Hawk calls for another card. He lays one down, and then calls for 2 more. 2 more handed. Now they each have 3. There's 2 on there. They're playing a different game, maybe one you're not familiar with. But you watch as Hawk smiles. Neither one of them take a card this turn around. One is laid in the center. Now there's 3 down in the middle. The third one is an ace. You watch as the guy across the table gets a little more confident. Hawk narrows their eyes across the table at the guy and says, "All right, what do you got?" He lays down a pair of kings and a pair of 10s. 2 pair. Hawk smiles and says, "That is impressive indeed." Well, and again, you see them kind of adjust, and as they do, the ace is replaced, one of the aces is replaced with a 5, leaving them with 2 5s and an ace in their hand. There's an ace on the table and another 5. And you watch as Hawk just lays it down and goes, "Looks like the house is mine. And so are you. I've got Dex to be swabbed." And this time he stands quickly. And you can see that he's going for a fight. What are you doing?
Zastari is just going to literally hoist her ass up and sit it directly on the table between the two of them.
You're jumping up on the table?
She's sitting on the edge of the table.
Mm-hmm.
She takes one look at him. "Is there something the matter?"
They're a cheat, and I know it.
"I stood next to them the entire time. They didn't cheat. Maybe you just read them wrong."
Hawk does this, moving their sleeves down so that you can see their forearms. It says, "No cards. What do you think? How am I getting cards somewhere?" Magic! I'm
Magic.
a sailor. I'm a captain of a ship, not a magician. I don't know anything about magic.
And you seriously think that somebody would use magic in a card game when they were winning to begin with?
He just kind of tucks his head, chin into his chest. I guess not.
Besides,
Fine.
how bad could it be? Little otherworldly experience. You get to travel the world. You are about to live everybody's dream by getting to see different places. And under the tutelage and leadership of this fine sailor.
What she said. He kind of gets up and says, "Fine." And he starts marching off. Hawk smiles at you, winks, and goes, "How's Mello?"
Last I heard, getting drunk in a bar.
"So Mello." Good.
Exactly.
Hawk stands and pats your face and says, "Thanks for the help," and then starts to leave. In that time, your rat-faced individual starts to move back towards you. It's probably been about 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Then I will hop off the table and head back over to where I was sitting before.
All right. The rat-faced man says, "I know the place and I know the time and the individual. They're going to have what you're looking for.
Okay.
I'll give you the details." And he gives you the name and the location and the time.
Okay.
Tangaroa, Ezra, Saitiel, and Zora. You guys have all met up. And you were hunting for Mello, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, we found him and he
That's
signed
right,
the
you
paper.
tripped across Mello.
Mhm.
All right. There's only one person missing from your party right now, then.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I have no idea where she would be. Even if we wanted to find her.
Neither do I, unfortunately.
I mean, she could be starting a fight somewhere. Do we follow yelling?
She could be starting a fight somewhere. Oddly
Well,
enough,
starting
not
a
this
fight
time.
after she feels something.
Oddly enough, not this time.
Wouldn't be surprised.
What was she? Were you not with her earlier? Where was she going? Satael says. Yeah.
Well, she asked me about potentially transferring the iconography off of the Frostbrand into a weapon that is more suitable for her own use and training. However, that is outside of my wheelhouse at present, so I believe she left to go find someone who might either have the books to teach me that or would be able to do it themselves. I haven't seen her since.
So we're going back out to the shopping district more. Is that...
It's possible, yes.
I'm tall, but she's so short. I don't think I could spot her in a crowd. I'm kidding.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got those boots on.
Oh yes.
She's 5'10 with the boots.
Uh-huh.
5'10 with the boots.
5'10.
I forgot about the boots. I'll be honest.
You've
The
only ever
boots.
seen her with the boots on.
Me, the player.
V.
I'm also an
Forgot about the boots.
B forgets that others wear shoes. It's not just they're not just like Ezra and Tonga where shoes are not necessary. So my mentality was just like gone.
You boys just running around there barefooted on the. Okay, I see how it is.
Oh god,
The
no.
ground's really hot. Your feet are gonna burn.
That poor cobbler.
Yeah. Why aren't you wearing any shoes?
Oh, at least Steve's wearing shoes this time.
For now.
For now. Not until we take them and throw them away.
Steve and no shoes. Okay. All of you give me investigation checks. Who aren't Zastari. The rest of you give me investigation. Investigation.
The FB modifier.
I'm not even trying. That's a 5.
It's an 8.
Ezra,
You keep
I
looking
could
for
just
somebody
leave
who's much
without her.
shorter.
Would it be a shame if we
booted up?
Ezra, I'll just leave without her. It's fine.
She probably knows how to swim. She'll catch up.
She can catch up.
15.
Well, I got a 25.
Okay. Leave it to Satael.
At least there's one person looking for her actively.
I rolled a 19 and I have a +6.
Yeah.
So,
The rest of us are very distracted by shiny things.
Sounds about right.
Oh, right.
herding cats to keep you all together, Satael. You
We're all getting bracelets with like rope attached to them.
it's just all Satael.
no, I just have you all on leashes at this
Oh
point.
my god, it's the child leashes.
Yeah, it's the harness with the little backpack leash.
How this tiny wizard man is hauling all of them around, the world may never know. But
I imagine they're all just braying into the air like some wild animals. Just
he just lashed them all together, cast levitate, and
just Tenga around. You've got a Tenga Ezra Zora balloon.
Yeah.
Like Macy's Day parading it around.
Ezra's just yelling, "This is very uncomfortable. I don't like being this high."
I'm sure you'll be
And you're
fine.
you're like 5 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Too tall.
I'm tall, but this is too much.
You'll be fine, I promise.
I just like the idea of you you've got a harness built so you can put your feet into there and latch them in. You're standing with 1 foot on Ezra's shoulder, 1 foot on Tanga's shoulder. So you're just like holding the ropes like leashes between them, like a yoke between them, just going, "Go, my noble steeds!"
God.
And off they go.
These are strong fucking boys. I don't doubt that they.
Honestly, the only uncomfortable thing would be the height difference.
Yeah, it'd be like a little chihuahua.
That's right, because you boys aren't the same height exactly, are you?
He's
No.
8 inches taller than Tonga.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
Leave that up. Leave that up to the design. Leave that up to the designer. He'll figure it out. That reminds me, I've got a video to show you guys. It's hilarious. Anyway, so as it were, you happen to come upon a very smug-looking Zastari, who seems to be leaving kind of a divey-looking bar, which isn't saying much. Most of these bars around here smell of fish and dive.
Hello.
What are nice folk like you doing in a place like this?
Looking for you.
So you immediately went to the seediest part of town? I don't know if I should be insulted or impressed?
No, I just had to follow the trail you left in your wake.
What trail?
The one I could find.
That is moderately creepy.
Magic.
Again with the magic.
Doesn't
What
make
are
it
you-
any less true.
What are you looking for me for? You've got my signature. I've agreed to the contract.
I'm aware. They just wanted to find you because you're the only one not with us.
I have
We
something
have a-
to do.
Oh.
That would.
We all have something to do right now.
I thought you needed to get your boat.
Got it.
Is
What
it in
we're
the water?
doing is
Boat's
leaving.
ready.
Is it in the water?
It's already.
And
Boat's ready.
not. What size of boat is it?
It's a boat.
Big enough.
There's room for all of
It's
us.
about that big.
Ezra will stand beside him and like put his arm lengths as well.
These two
Zastari's
idiots
just
are
gonna look
standing
at
out there with their arms spread wide, fingertips touching.
Zastari's gonna look at Satiel and Zora. What?
I'm not even gonna pretend to know on this one.
So you haven't
Oh,
seen the boat
you'll
either?
all fit. You'll all
Well-
fit.
Zora has seen the boat.
Fit like 10 to 15 people on these boats.
I've seen the boat.
Look at the size of this boat.
Does-
You can fit like what?
Does it have
5,
railings?
10, 6, 7, 8 bodies in this thing.
Does it have railings?
You just see her shaking her head in the background, rapidly.
So
Would it?
somebody could just
Zora's back there
fall
going,
off this boat.
no.
Can't you?
Well, unless you listen. If you don't listen to Tonga, yes.
I can swim well enough for all of us. I'll catch you if you fall. All you gotta do is hold on.
Sounds like a love song.
I
I'll catch
You
you
know
if you fall. All you gotta do is
Okay.
hold on.
I guess. I mean, sure. I have something
You
I
swim.
need to... No, that's not relevant. I
Are
have
you
something
sure? Because
I
you're
need
asking
to...
if you're gonna fall off a boat.
Not
How is
relevant!
being able to not? How's being able to swim not relevant to being on a boat? I think that's one of the most relevant things you can find. Let alone as, are you a rat or do you explode? Being other relevant things on a boat.
I have something I need to do before I am even remotely ready to leave. That I
Okay.
promise does not involve me getting into a fight that somebody is going to complain about having to save me from.
I'm gonna complain.
I have a feeling you're going to complain regardless.
Are you really
How many times have I had to
in a
save you
fight?
out of a fight? You're being foolish. You're still starting fights?
Shh, I'm not starting any fights. Actually, I just diffused a fight, so shush. Zora, you were saying?
Are you known for getting into fights?
Yes.
No?
V.
She kind of looks up at Ezra for confirmation on this.
Ezra is furiously shaking, nodding his head up and down to the point where it's like sky ground, sky ground, sky ground.
Kind of nods to herself.
I'm not known for starting fights.
What happened when we got into the last fight? Why did that happen?
Again, I'm telling you, I didn't have
What
anything
happened
to
in
do
the fight
with that.
before? Why did we get into that fight?
Because I was bored.
What?
We
Doesn't
were
sound like
standing-
you starting the fight.
We were standing outside the fort and not doing anything and discussing the ramifications of entering said fort. I was getting tired of the conversation, so I just went inside the fort. I didn't know there were skeletons in there. Okay, I knew there was going to be something in there, but I didn't think it was going to be skeletons. I
What
figured
about
we'd
the
find some
tavern?
history.
Why did that fight start? Because you went around doing stuff you weren't supposed to.
I
and
didn't
I
do
had to come and
anything.
save
I
you.
was walking through, listening to conversation,
Yes, you
getting a
did.
feel for the... You can't prove
Pockets.
shit.
Getting a feel for the pockets.
You can't prove anything, and I didn't do
I can't
it
prove that you did anything, but I can prove that you definitely still instigated a fight.
because I was defending myself.
She just kind of steps behind Ezra because mom and dad are fighting.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have something to do that does not require two very large men following me around like bodyguards.
Alright. Then I'm
Where
not going
is
to be in
your
this
boat?
next fight.
Not a very good bodyguard.
The boat's at the port. It's right on the beach.
Then I will come find
I just
you.
want to touch the ocean. That's all I want to do.
Then go swim!
Swimming! He leaves.
Fuck.
Welcome to the last episode, then, I guess.
I have
The party
something I
just
need.
falls apart.
Satya, I have something I need to do in regards to an item that I'm getting procured. I cannot leave until I have it done. This shouldn't take me any
Sure.
longer than an hour.
Is this about the sword?
Yes,
Okay, so you found somebody then.
I did.
Mind if I come with you then?
Only if you promise to keep your mouth shut and let me do the talking?
I can't promise that, especially if he has a rather large selection of arcane sigils, glyphs, and/or books.
Yikes.
No. Where I'm going, I really need you to just let me do the talking. This is not your wheelhouse.
Where are you going?
Somewhere not
He
nice.
asks with his chin in his hands, "Where are we going?"
Somewhere not nice.
Then why are you going?
Because I have to do the job, and this is my wheelhouse.
Because she's not nice.
Exactly, Ezra. Thank
When are
you
you gonna
for
learn?
muttering that underneath your breath, despite the fact that everybody could hear you.
I didn't hear it. What did Ezra say?
Because
She's not nice.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you could hear me from down there. No, I'm kidding.
Ezra,
I'm
you're
gonna-
not
can hear
even
s-
6 inches taller than I am. Come on!
Yeah, because I'm 8.
He's 6'8".
Are you 6'8"?
I'm 6'8".
No shit, you are almost a foot taller than I am.
I'm also going to the water, and Zora, you're welcome to come. I'm gonna.
Going swimming?
Well, I'm not. Maybe not swim. Go make sure Tonga's okay and doesn't leave without.
I'm a strong boy. But come with me anyway.
Just kind of looks back and forth like, are you gonna start a fight wherever you're going? Do you need someone to help you?
I have no intention of getting into a fight.
Keyword: intention.
I mean, typically people don't intend to get into a fight. I mean,
I beg to differ with you on that one.
Again, you are welcome to come with me, but let me do the talking and let me do my job.
I'm gonna go with Ezra and Tonga.
Yay, swimming
Tangaroa.
party. Beach party.
You know what? I think I'm gonna take a look at that boat of theirs and see if there's anything that can be done magically to help make the journey a
Beach
little bit
party.
better.
Beach party.
Has Zora walked
But
off
I'm
yet?
not gonna be joining you on the beach. I'll be on your boat.
That's
boat's
where
on the
boat
beach.
is. It's on the beach.
It's on the beach.
Yes, and I'll be on the boat, not on the beach.
Oh, close.
Has Zora left yet to go after Ezra?
I mean, she's on her way to. She's got short legs, so.
Okay.
Oh, Ezra would have waited for her, so he's still around as well.
I will
It's
see
not
you guys
polite to
in
just walk away.
about an hour.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Do that thing I do with my kids is Ezra stops and turns and realizes that Zora's coming, so you like hold your hand out at your side and you just kind of flex your fingers. It was like out to your side, you're holding down at your side, you're like flexing your fingers at them. Zora comes up, toddles over, grabs your hand.
Pretty much.
Walk towards the beach.
It
All right.
grabs onto like a belt loop so she doesn't get lost.
All right.
I used to do that.
The party ventures towards the boat, and you arrive at your destination. It is a small house, nestled back in Port Awapal distance, not in the rich district, but not in the poor slums either. It is a single story affair, and you can see that there are no markings on the door. There seems to be like a family crest that sits, right to the right of the entry. But other than that, it is just an innocuous looking building.
And I still feel like walking up to the front door is a bad idea, so I'm gonna head around the back to see if there's a kitchen door.
Okay. Absolutely, there is. It's one of the like the Dutch doors where the top part opens and the bottom part.
Cool. Then I'm going to gently.
Currently, the top part is open and the bottom part is closed, and you can see that there is a pie that is sitting there cooling on the little shelf that's part of the door.
Cool. I'm gonna ignore the pie, and I'm going to lean on the open bottom part, or the open section, and lean on the bottom part of the door. And then she's just kind of rap on it. Is there anybody home?
After a moment, you see shuffling forward what appears to be a man in about his 60s or 70s. Human, but he does have some pointed ears, giving you the idea that maybe he's half elf, making his age a lot more venerable than you thought maybe originally.
Yeah.
He steps forward. You can see that he has a pair of half glasses on his face, and they're kind of pushed down. You can see that there's a chain attached to them just so you can take them off. He's wearing a warm green robe that is tied with a sash at the middle. Most of it's open. You can see a lightweight linen shirt underneath it. He steps forward and says, I believe you're the one that I'm supposed to be meeting this afternoon.
Yes.
Would you care for a slice of pie?
Provided it's not poison.
No, it's rhubarb.
Sounds delicious.
Excellent. And with that, he unlatches the door, and as he does so, he takes the pie and quickly sets it down on the table. I was expecting people to rap on the front door, not the back, so I apologize.
Let's call it a precaution.
Yes, you will. He sets the pie down, and as he steps aside and allows you entry into the home. It is a tiny... Go ahead.
Yeah, she's just going to step forward and then kind of look around.
The back is... There's a kind of a bay window in the corner, and you can see like a breakfast nook. There's a small table with 2 seats there, which is the table he set the pie down on. It looks out on a small stepped garden, and you can see that it's built up from the ground level so that it almost ends at the window.
Yep.
He kind of says, sand here, a lot of it. It's not very good for growing, but if you know how to stack and plant it right, you can grow just about anything here in these gardens.
Fascinating.
I've been in Port Apollo a long time. Where are you from?
A place far from here. And I think it is probably best if you don't know.
That smart, very smart thinking. Sorry about that. Have a seat. And he takes a silver serving triangle for like cake and pies. And you can see that it's tarnished, or it's got a patina on it so that it looks old. And he takes and slices off a piece of pie and sets it onto a thin ceramic plate and sets it in front of you, hands you, lays the fork daintily out beside there, and goes to what appears to be a strange looking box made out of metal. As he opens it, you can feel something waft out of it, and it's cool. And he takes a small pitcher out and pours you a glass of milk, and then puts the pitcher back in and closes it. And as he does, you feel the cool that was emanating from there stops. And then he pulls up a chair and sits down opposite of you.
Is that a brown mold machine?
So it's unique. The inside of it is a thin layer of insulation, and then around an outer layer of insulation that keeps the mold from hurting anything on the outside. But yes, it is.
That is
very good of you to notice.
amazing.
Oh, it's something I designed a long time ago.
Would you be willing to share your schematics? I have a friend who would be vastly interested in that sort of machinations.
I could certainly try to see if I can find them for you, if you'd like. Wait here a moment. And he gets up and toddles into another room. You hear him ruffling around in the desk, the drawers opening and closing and stuff like that. He comes back, and instead of having just like he has a small notebook. And I say it's small, it's thin. It's a thin notebook. It's probably about the size of a regular book. And he sets it down and kind of slides it over to you and opens it up, and you can see that it's plans for several different items that have never come to fruition, or you don't know, but he does turn and shows you the design and the makeup for the particular box that he has.
Okay. She's going to pull out her own parchment and a piece of charcoal, and she's just going to very quickly copy it. It's almost perfect. Like, it's almost exactly perfect. Some of the lines aren't quite as straight as his, and
sure,
maybe
but
she misspells.
enough of the
yeah.
Enough of it can be gleaned from there.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
says,
she pulls out the small slip of paper from her leather bracers and slides it across the table to him.
He looks at it curiously and then picks it up for a moment and unravels it. And as he does, you watch his face, which was very, very, like I said, old but handsome, and his face kind of falls for a second. And he rolls the paper back up. He looks at you, takes the plate and the glass away from you and moves them off. You haven't even had a chance to bite into it. Takes the journal and closes it. And then he stands up and walks away for a moment. He comes back, and without so much as a word, he goes, boom, and sets something down. And kind of hits the on the table. There's what Sarnes wants. Get out of here.
Of course. Thank you for your assistance. And she will collect it, stash it into her bag, give him a very polite and deep bow, and then slip out the back. And then she takes a very winding path back to Sarnes's, so that if she's followed, she's lost whoever's following her.
As you were leaving, you hear the sound of the glass rattling and the paint slams the door shut. And you wind and meander your way back to Sarnes and return the item to him that he asked for.
Yep. Including the message of, he didn't seem too happy to see me once he found out I was here for you.
Don't take it personal. It's a small matter between he and I. It's the old wounds, that sort of thing. Thank you very much for doing that job for me. When will you be back at Port Owlpall again?
I can't say I know.
Where is your next destination?
We're headed for... I have it written down somewhere and I can't find it.
Jopus Landing.
Thank you. We are headed for Jopus Landing.
I assume that you are taking and traversing the Hannock Waste, that you are going by ship or boat or smuggle around the Forsaken Sands.
Yes, we're taking a boat. I haven't seen this boat. I'm moderately nervous about this boat.
Do you know what size? Is it a caracal? Is it a galleon? A sloop?
I have never seen this boat. All I have is the assurance of our Triton that it is seafaring enough.
I'm sorry. Did you say a Triton?
Yes?
Okay. You'll be there in about a week.
I mean, that's great, but what about the service you owe me?
I will have it for you in Jopus Landing in 2 weeks.
Do you need the two swords then, I'm assuming?
I need your sword that you want to move to, and the copy or the sword that you wanted to end up on.
Of course. And then she pulls out the rapier, she pulls out the longsword, puts them both on the counter with their appropriate sheaths.
Excellent. Well then, 2 weeks. I promise you I've never failed delivery in any time.
Of course. Thank you so
Now.
much for this.
Don't mention it. Pay upon delivery, 200 gold. I didn't say it was free.
Okay. Just out of curiosity. And she actually pulls the crown off. She's been wearing this thing the entire time. Sets it down on the counter. How much would that be worth? Historical piece like that?
We'll call it even.
Then I don't have to pay upon delivery, and I will be by your shop in Jopus Landing in 2 weeks.
I'm sure you will be. You're in for an adventure in a tree. That's right. So long.
Goodbye, Sarnas.
I'm not responsible if you drown.
If I drown, it'll be the least of my worries.
Right. Good luck.
And then she's gonna head down to the beach, and she's now looking for the ship that is as wide as Ezra and Tongaroa holding their arms out.
And you cannot miss it. There on the beach stands Zora. Tongaroa is in the water, I assume.
Mhm.
And Ezra,
He's underwater, so you don't even see him.
And Ezra is like feet in the wash. Satael is standing on top of what appear to be 2 pontoons lashed together with a small section of wood in between them. It seems sturdy. It doesn't seem like it's going to fall apart. You don't see decks. You don't see hammocks. You don't see crew
Railings.
cabins. It's plenty big enough to hold everybody, though.
But there's no railings.
No railings. Couple of lash points you can tie yourself.
So, where's the rest of the ship?
What do you
The captain's
mean?
in the water.
Oh, I'm underwater.
Yeah, he's the rest of the ship, really.
What? No, this
However-
is little more than a dinghy. Where's the rest of the ship?
He pops up from underwater. Just hide it.
That's the ship. That's
The
the whole
boat.
ship. The whole thing.
I'm gonna die.
Look a little pale. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm great.
Perfect. Do you need
Alright,
help getting
cool.
up?
Are we leaving now?
Are we waiting for anything else?
What time of day is it?
What time of day is it actually?
It is probably, by the time you get all this done, it's probably getting on evening.
We should probably wait until tomorrow.
No. The stars are the best guide.
For you.
I would rather be leaving in the night to follow the stars than do nothing at all. The morning we have only the sun. In the night we have a map of trillions of stars to follow.
Okay, that sounds logical.
Cool.
But hear me out.
But hear me out. Where's the rest of the boat?
Well, I need to pull the sail up, but other than that,
This is a skiff. This isn't a boat. That is a boat. She like points to one of like the galleons that are like out in the fucking the bay, and I'm like, that's a ship. This is a skiff. This is not a boat. This is a raft with pontoons.
that's an unnecessary size for a boat. My people have traveled across entire oceans with just these. That's all you need?
Your people are also part fish and won't drown if they fall in the water.
I mean, there are other ways to die in the water besides just drowning.
It's very comforting, Ezra. Thank you.
The thumbs up was the best part.
Is it too late to go by the sands?
The travel would be much longer, wouldn't it?
More dangerous.
Yeah, but
I also still have the way memorized.
there's this thing called solid ground that would be beneath my feet.
Solid ground
And not
on
the yawning depths of unknown abyss and water.
I mean, wood is solid ground beneath your feet, and that's what the
No,
boat
wood is wood. On top of an abyss of solid water. Liquid water.
You can keep your eyes shut the entire time. Nothing will
Just
happen.
imagine them tying you to the mast the entire trip.
If I punch you hard enough, will it just knock you out? You'll be fine. I'm kidding.
I would really prefer if you didn't do that, because I've seen you punch people, and I'd rather not have a broken bone.
Well, if I put my whole fist into it. I mean,
I didn't realize you could only put half of your fist into something. Last I heard, it was the whole fist or nothing.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it be the same as like stabbing somebody with a sword or hitting them in the head with the pommel?
Stabbing? No, it's not the same as stabbing with somebody with a sword. No.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's all going in there. You can either like just poke them with it, or hit them with the blunt end in the back, or just completely run them through. There's multiple variations of stabbing.
I guess we're not doing phrasing anymore. Okay.
I honestly thought of it the moment after I said it. I was like, "Yikes!"
Okay.
We should.
It's okay because
Inside-
Eric just keeps feeding the beast.
Hint Sawtail being Sawtail. He's just like, yeah, okay.
I think we should take the boat. Because
think
one
we
time
should
I
take
was
the
excited
boat.
to get back onto the water, and I don't mind being back on the water either.
I have never been on a boat. I've always traveled by land, even though I did live in Jopus Landing.
This will be the most fun boat trip. I can
Oh,
guarantee
speaking of,
everybody.
sorry to interrupt you, but when we go to Jopus Landing, do you all mind going to the monastery with me? I would like to visit home for a little while.
Weird. Sounds fine.
All right.
Fantastic.
Sure. Oh god.
We should take the boat.
It's a skiff.
We should take the boat.
It's not a boat.
It's a boat. It's Tonga's boat.
Did you
I
mute
miss-
yourself, Tuna?
Did you mute yourself,
Tuna?
Tuna?
Like, I saw you talking,
Yeah, I was like-
but we got no audio.
Oh, I said, what are we whispering about?
We're swearing about boats. Because we're going to take that boat.
But it's not
I just realized I've been muted.
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh no!
The whole time she just like was listening to the conversation, just walking further away, gathering like shells and stuff. Like, oh no.
And there's no railings to put up on this skiff.
You can hold on to the mast. You can hold on to any of the ropes. I see no issue.
There are other people on the boat as well. You can hold each other.
Still,
And you want to leave tonight.
I would prefer if we left when the stars were starting to rise. It'll give us the best direction to head in.
Well, this is completely out of my wheelhouse, so I guess.
We're gonna have fun. I promise.
No.
No, it won't.
Right.
Sawtail just kind of like sit there, contemplate it for a second, and think. And it's like, would you mind teaching me how you do that?
What?
That, like, the whole navigating by the stars thing, because
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm really good at retaining information, so just about anything that I see or hear, I memorize it just about instantly.
Yeah.
So
For sure. No, we'll get on the boat first, then I'll talk about it.
okay.
Any further protestation?
Ezra's here to help everybody up onto the boat.
Zora, are you getting on le boat?
Begrudgingly and as close to the center as she can.
She's sitting on one of the plankings where the mast is, like hugging the
We'll just have
mast.
to duck under the mast if it comes over.
And she's short, so it'll be okay. She's like rummaging in her pack for rope and like tying herself to the mast.
Lashing yourself to it. All right. Zastari.
She just looks over the star like, you can sit on the other side of the mast.
Pick her up by the waist, put her on the boat.
Just bodily pick her up and put her on the boat.
You don't have a choice anymore.
Like a fucking cat that just does not want to be picked up.
Yeah.
Is Ezra on the boat?
Is Ezra on the boat? Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No, he's willing to help Zora and Zastari get onto the boat if need be.
Zastari's gonna take one last look at the boat. Look over at Ezra. You're sure this is gonna work? I'm not asking Tango because it's his boat.
I don't know how to run one of these ships.
I really.
Have I let you die yet? Have you died yet?
I've been on the water
Yes,
for
but
most
that
of
is
my
stuff
life.
I have mostly control over.
You must put your trust in the captain.
I must put my trust in a lot of things. Putting my trust on a boat that looks like it'll capsize with the stiffest bit of wind.
If Tonga says he has traveled the waters with his family on boats like these, all points of time in his life, I'm sure there's really no issue.
I learned
Actually,
how
I'm
to
positive
captain one of these ships when I was maybe 10 years old.
Oh god.
I'm going to sail across the sea to find a trickster god to take and make sure that they can return the. Anyways.
Okay. Fine. She'll let Ezra help her up onto the boat.
Fucking yeets her up. No, definitely helps her up.
All
Is everybody on the boat?
Place her.
Ezra is climbing onto the boat. Everybody is on le boat.
Are we just assuming
Okay.
Mello is here and laying on the boat somewhere?
Mello is chilled out on the end, like kicking his feet out above the water.
Right, so
You all get there and Mello's there already. He's like, I had teleport. What are you doing? All right.
to get it out, Tonga he won't be on the boat quite yet. He will like take the end and with one like push it into the water. He's gonna walk until he's about high in the water, then kind of like jump on and grab one of the oars and just push so that they're going out. Like good distance past the dock. He's going to option to actually unleash the sail, and then he will take hold of the sail, and they'll be off.
The story glides across the water safely, and it rides kind of on top of it, not into it.
Sure, she still feels sick.
You're watching as Tangaroa pilots this vessel out and starts getting it ready to catch wind and make its way. And as you watch the land get further and further away from you, I need you to give me a sanity roll, please.
Fucker!
All of us?
Nope, just
Okay.
you. Just the start.
Oh, just Zastari?
It's a 5.
your mind is trying to reconcile what's actually happening, and your body is telling it that this isn't right. And so while you want to engage the flight or fight instinct, you're just kind of locked in place. As you do, there's a small breaker that hits, and water splashes in your face, and for a second you sputter and dive to the deck of one of the arms of the boat, and just kind of like cling to the deck as best you can. Your mind telling you that you're falling in the water, even though you can feel the heart of the ship beneath you. And your panic causes you to like basically sit there catatonic for about 2 minutes or so.
I mean, she's not throwing herself overboard.
That's a good
At
sign.
least. Step 1.
Doesn't
Step
have
1,
perceiving yet.
still on the boat.
Step 1, still on the boat. We're good.
And as you guys shove off with the light of the day waning behind you, Tangaroa in his natural element, we're actually going to go ahead and call it here tonight. Thank you, everyone. I apologize for the short session. I wanted to get these guys out on the water, but due to just things, we're going to go ahead and call it tonight. But I will keep everyone posted on whether or not we'll be back next week. However, do not miss DM Jason tomorrow night with Holocaust of the Ekajati, and do not miss the Session 0 and the character creation. You could learn how to play a whole new game of Big Eye Small Mouth on Wednesday and on Thursday, and then all sorts of fun things going on. So keep tuned in here at Adventuring Company. We appreciate all of you guys watching. If you would, remember it's September week month. Jesus, I can't talk now. September. All subscriptions, instead of being $5 for the month of September, are only $2.50. We would appreciate your subscription, and keep in mind if you have a Twitch Prime account, you get one free sub. We'd love it if you tossed it our way. Also, support us on Patreon as we make content. Soon there will be plenty of things to hear and listen to as a Patreon, one of them being me talking about, and I mean literally talking, using my microphone right here, talking about stereotypes and how we need to get past this. The first one will be about the bard, and the second one being about the paladin. So expect those soon. In the meantime, thank you all so much. We appreciate your understanding. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again soon. Tune in tomorrow. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. Eat food. Love people. Good night, everyone.